What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Hope everybody is well on this Thursday as we count down to Arsenal against Burnley on Saturday, people. That should be another 3 points and hopefully a few goals. And by the way, apologies in advance. You know, anytime we talk about Kylian Mbappe and Arsenal, you know, it triggers people. We're not signing Mbappe! You've already asked him the question. But we can dream, people. Life is for the dreamers, of course. So we'll discuss it. But yeah, apologies in advance. I don't want to build anyone's hopes up too much. But hey, we'll do what we need to do. And it's official, people. It is official. The country has gone into recession. 24 hours after Valentine's Day, funnily enough. So we've all been rinsed, you know, yesterday, and a day later, the country's mash up. So turn off your gas, wear 2 hoodies if necessary. You know, take time out there, people. Take time out there. I've always said, to be fair, that the recession doesn't really affect you if you live in the ends, because it's a permanent recession anyway. But, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Valentine's Day mashes up everyone's pocket. And the day later, we're in recession, people. Make sure you're recession-proof. But hey, not as easy as it says. It's coming in the USA as well. UK hits a timeout. You know what I mean? They put the price of them chocolates, them flowers, all of that up for the ladies yesterday. And now, look, the country's mash up. It is what it is. But Arsenal don't care. Arsenal don't give a damn. They said you can keep your recession. We're Arsenal. We will do what we like. How interesting that the 15th of February 2024, the UK goes into a nationwide recession. Save your money. Don't waste it on things that you can't afford to buy, you know. Just lock the doors. Arsenal said, we don't give a damn about your recession. We just beat West Ham 6-0. We're bringing out merch. They said, we don't care if you can't keep the electricity on. Turn on the radiator. At least you can do it wearing brand new Hale End Arsenal merch. And of course, they were going to use Saka. I'm surprised he doesn't have a puppy on his chest to, you know, bring out that emotion in the fan base. So they said, listen, you know, you ain't going to have no hot water, no electric. You might not have no food in the fridge, but damn, you're going to do it looking good in this brand new Arsenal merch. It's not Adidas, actually. It's just plain Arsenal. That's the windbreaker. There's a little jumper there. A t-shirt. It's called the Hale End version. It says, what does that say? Enjoy the journey, ignore the noise, always forward. Yeah, thank you. I look great in that windbreaker whilst I have no food in the cupboards thanks to your recession. But hey, here's what it is. If you're going to struggle looking good, right? But hey, here's what it is. Josh said I just bought a new training kit too. I couldn't resist. Adidas have been killing it. Mark said I only spent £20 yesterday, and that was on myself. Fair play, fair play. I've had a day or two off. I had to do the whole Valentine's thing. So, you know, is what it is. The card had to get tapped a few times, unfortunately. But, you know, I always grew up like kind of, these are all government rip-offs, man. Like, oh, Pancake Day. A day where we all run to the shop, buy Nutella, buy, you know, ice cream and make pancakes. Then Valentine's Day, you're going to spend loads of money on your missus or whatever. And then you've got Christmas, you're going to buy presents galore. Mother's Day, Father's Day, all kinds of, you know, government-made days to force you to spend money. But even though I'm kind of against them, you know, what choice have we got? You know, you can't tell your missus, you know, I don't really believe in it. That ain't going to run. She wants you to spend money. But hey, it is what it is. We're back, people. I'll be streaming heavily from now on. With the recession, I might be streaming 2 or 3 times a day. No, I'm joking. We keep it moving. We keep it moving. Anyway, listen. Yeah, and then Easter eggs. You know what I mean? They're just trying to mash us up, people. Yeah, I'm waiting for Waffles Day. They need to bring out Waffles Day, you know, just for Mikel Arteta. Waffle settings, people. Anyway, big up to everyone locked in, and I hope you're well. And I hope, you know, everyone's safe out there with this UK recession. Some people in the chat saying the US is going to go into recession soon as well. But, you know, as long as we take care of the pennies, we'll be all right, I hope. Anyway, let's talk about Kylian Mbappe. You know, apologies in advance. It's too late to apologize. It's too late. Listen, life is for the dreamers, and I'm dreaming. I'm dreaming, people. I'm sorry. I'm gonna dream. You've got to dream, people, and we're dreaming big. If you're gonna dream, dream big. There's no point me dreaming about, you know, signing some bang average player. Let's do this. Why not? I want that as my front three. Why can't we do it? That's what we moved to the Emirates for. Now, I know. I'm right there with you. Some people said it's clickbait. No, there's a story out there. You're damn right I'm talking about it. Yeah, it's quiet outside of the transfer window. If there's rumours of Mbappe to Arsenal, I'm running with it. Let me tell you that. But listen, I'm not saying that we're going to get him. I'm saying, why can't we get him? This is always the question that I ask. People go, you can't get Mbappe. I say, why? Tell me why. Because what we've done, we've been led to believe that this isn't achievable for Arsenal Football Club. So listen, you go for Mbappe, he says no, he goes Real Madrid, no problem. Not a problem at all with that. Real Madrid, cool, no problem. But my question is always, why can't we go for him? Why is it laughable when we talk about it? And I know, Cormac, I'm with you. Stop, it's the hope that destroys us. I'm not here for 1 second saying I think we're going to get him. And it is Gabriel saying his dreams can come true. Kylian Mbappe will sign you. We know we got to have one. You know you got to be strong. I just need the eye patch now, you know what I mean? Do you feel what I'm saying? Let me not. Yo, you don't want me to start singing them old school 90s tracks. Some of you youngers in the chat, you don't even know about them tunes. But, you know, they're thinking I'm talking about Gabriel Magalhaes. But, hey, Gabrielle with the eye patch, she was crazy. But anyway. My question is why can't we get him, right? And this is how I'm doing. I'm putting the maths together. I'm putting the maths together. Just put it in this sense. Declan Rice cost 105 million. I'm on the calculator here right now, people. I'm on the calculator. Declan Rice cost 105 million pounds for Arsenal. His wage is 13 million pounds a season, right? 250 grand a week. So over 4 years, that 13 million, 52 million, plus the sign-in, plus the transfer fee, 157 million over 4 years for Declan Rice, transfer fee and wages. 157 million. Now, Mbappe's on £900,000 a week, which I know is ridiculous. Apparently, he wants £1 million a week, right? He wants £1 million a week. So you're looking at £52 million a season to get him. Over 4 years, £208 million over 4 years. No transfer fee, pure wages. Declan Rice over 4 years, 157 million. So I don't want people to think that I'm sitting here saying we're signing him. I don't think we are signing him. I'm not trying to, you know, clickbait and tell everyone Mbappe's signing for Arsenal, because I don't think he is. What I'm saying is, I don't buy into this narrative that people say, oh, he's on £1 million a week, so Arsenal can't sign him. Why not? Why can't they? 208 million over 4 years. Declan Rice is 157 million over 4 years. So you're paying 51 million pounds more over a 4-year period to get arguably the best player on the planet. In my opinion, with his age, with his talent level, it's not unachievable for Arsenal. Now, of course, he wants a huge signing on fee. It's going to look more than that. Yeah, signing on fee might be 30, 40, 50, 60 million. And not like, listen, but do not buy into this narrative that Arsenal can't afford Mbappe. It's false. In my opinion, it's false, right? They could if they wanted to. Can you imagine? Like you said, can you imagine the shirt sales? I'd buy the home kit, the away kit. I'd buy everything. I'd buy old jerseys and put his 14 Mbappe, Thierry Henry reborn again. Oh, my God. I'd be outside the armory with a truck and just say, fill it up. I don't care if it's my... Fill it up. I'd walk out the armory looking like Ty. Headphones, woolly hat, jacket, socks, trainers, everything. I'd spend... I'm telling you now, I'd buy all of it. Kylian Mbappe at Arsenal. They'd have to ban me from YouTube. The shamelessness would be on a whole nother level. Thierry reborn again. Listen, as I said, I don't want to build up hopes. I don't want to, you know, disappoint people because let's be real, it's not happening, right? Kroenke ain't spending that money. I don't know if Arteta could even manage him. He'd probably be managing Arteta by the end of the season. But you can't tell me that that is not achievable for Arsenal, especially if they balance the books as well. But so I'm kind of apologising, but dreaming at the same time. I would love it to happen, of course, but I doubt it. He's probably now, his agent is probably throwing stories out there to apply pressure to Real Madrid because Real Madrid have not offered him the kind of money that he wants to get. Young Gunner said the press conference question worked. Told you, people. I told you. Yeah, if only. Do you know what? Last year, when I asked him the question, he said, I'm not going to talk about players that are contracted to other clubs. If I do the press conference this summer and Mbappe's out of contract, I say, listen, a year ago, you said you won't talk about Mbappe because he's contracted. Well, now he's out of contract. But it'd be a waste of a question. I won't do that again. Sam said Mbappe being teammates with Cedric and El Neni. I mean, what a privilege. How could he deny himself that? Wama said, Big C legend, love the channel. Thank you, question. I'm convinced we won't win the league. I will be happy, not really with top three, with a transfer pot of 200 million British. Who would you buy? I'll buy Kylian Mbappe. No, I'm joking. I'd buy Ivan Toney. I'd buy Fofana from Monaco. I think you'd get him for 30, 40 million. I think you get Toney for 60, 70. So there's 100 mil. You got your striker. You got your centre mid. I would buy a right winger. I'd love to sign Leroy Sané, but I don't see it happening. I'd go for Neto. I know he's injury prone and I should go for Elise, but I love Neto. I love his explosive style of play. He'd cost you 50, 60 mil. So you're at 160. You've got Toney, Fofana, Neto. You probably need a backup keeper if Ramsdale leaves. I get another defender as well. Kivior, I'm not convinced. There's your 200 million. I think you're in great shape if you did that. A big up Whammer as well. He's gifted 10 Curtis Shaw TV memberships. The community grows ever stronger, people. Legend, big up Whammer, and welcome to the 10 new members. Big up Simon. He's always been going to Madrid. Are they now worrying about the 150 million euro signing on fee he's asking for? If Mbappe doesn't go to Real Madrid and he stays at PSG, I think it's the worst decision of his career because he's not winning the Champions League at PSG. And Haaland will probably overtake him because he'll keep winning the big trophies. Gunnar Roller said, ideally we should be in for him, but two things. He's on 900k a week. That's 3 times more than our nearest highest earner. The club don't want the circus. I hear you, but I just think it's worth it. I think Mbappe wins Arsenal the Premier League, you know. But yeah, I just don't think they'd be scared to do it. Carl said, why do we need Mbappe? We have Havertz. Yeah, I'm not sure Mbappe attacks space like that space invading Donkey. Donkey purely, that's his nickname. No disrespect. Alex said, we can get Mbappe on a 5-year deal, use him for 3 years, then sell him to Madrid for 150 million. Issue for me, will he disrupt the dressing room? Yeah, that's the question. And 6 million said the signing on fee, agent fees, his mum's cut, etc. would push that near 300 million. Haaland's dad got millions from City because he. Hey, really, I hear you. Just just for making him, the man got a million. So yeah, listen, I wanted to talk about it, and I'm just quickly gonna finish the story off from the actual story that was said. Miguel Delaney put out a story saying Kylian Mbappe would willingly join Arsenal. Kylian Mbappe would willingly join Arsenal. I had to check the date. I thought, is it April the 1st? No, listen. Kylian Mbappe would willingly join Arsenal. I'm sorry. I said I would apologise in advance for this story, and I'll do that. But Kylian Mbappe would be willing to join Arsenal. The story then goes on to say, with Mbappe, it appeals to the player to follow in the footsteps of Thierry Henry, who apparently was one of his heroes growing up. Naturally, Thierry tax. We all love Thierry Henry. Listen, I'm going to be honest. I think that the agent is trying to put some pressure on Real Madrid. Real Madrid are messing around a little bit. They kind of feel like, listen, if you want to come to Madrid, you take what we offer. This is the biggest football club in the world. Mbappe's making crazy demands. So his agent puts out a story. Well, he'd go to Arsenal, and there's been Liverpool stories in the past. Saudi clubs still looking at him as well. So he's probably using Arsenal to get him a huge contract at PSG, if it can get any bigger. and put pressure on Real Madrid. Only Curtis Shaw has the balls to ask about the possibility of signing Mbappe. Hey, listen, I always said this: the game is the game. One question in the press conference, right? And yeah, I could have asked a question that would have got a better response, possibly. But that question got the most traction of any question in that press conference. Fabrizio tweeted it, 6 million views. The game is the game. That's what we're here for, right? But next year, maybe we come with a more sensible one. But you know me, information and entertainment. I'm shameless with it, people. Anyway, let's move on. Let's not talk about Mbappe to Arsenal before people get triggered. But as I said, the financial side of it, it's not as out of the question as you would imagine. But anyway, let's move on. One of the coaches at Arsenal, Mikel Asampul. One of the questions around Arsenal today is surrounding Carlos Cuesta. I hope I haven't butchered his name there. Carlos Cuesta. Ed Aarons, who reports for The Guardian, saying that Carlos Cuesta apparently is one of the brains behind the the plan that Mikel Arteta has put into place, and it's he's been given a lot of credit as to the turnaround at Arsenal, and he's being linked with the Norwich job. Big up Jake Snacks, get well soon, bro. He's in hospital, get well soon, safe recovery. So breaking news from Ed Aarons, Norwich have Carlos Cuesta in their sights as they look for a new manager next season. Carlos Cuesta, very highly rated, very good coach. Now, listen, this is the reality of the situation. Coaches are getting poached now into managers' jobs positions. I don't know if anybody's seen what's going off with Leicester in the Championship at the moment. Their manager was the Manchester City assistant manager. And he's obviously got the job there, done a great job. Leicester are top of the Championship. He's going to be a Premier League manager next season. So this is the reality of the situation. He's been at Juventus. Apparently some other Championship clubs are looking at him as well. He's 28 years of age. The sporting director is a guy called Ben Napper at Norwich, and he used to do some work at Arsenal. And they're now saying that Carlos Cuesta is actually, in the paper, they're saying he's one of the most highly rated coaches in world football as a young coach, 28 years of age, has been at Juventus. He speaks 6 languages, and he's been at the club for almost 4 years. Now, listen, for me, it would be disappointing to see him leave because apparently they're saying he's one of the best coaches, if not the best coach at the club. And he's young, and obviously the players have got a good relationship with him. The problem you've got is if he gets offered a first-team job at a club like Norwich, who are a club that would have a chance of probably getting promoted to the Premier League, I think he would probably take the job. So, listen, I don't get caught up too much in coaches and scouts and stuff like that, but we know it is important. The fact he speaks 6 languages means, any player that comes in maybe doesn't speak English, it's going to be easier to communicate. So, listen, I think if he goes, it would be not good news for Arsenal in that sense, but the reality is, a good coach gets offered a manager's job at a good club, he's going to go. So it is what it is. I think if Norwich offer him the job, he will probably be on his bike, unfortunately. So yeah, it is what it is. Getting drunk on that West Ham 6-pack, yeah? Why not, people? Why not? Kane moves to Bayern to win trophies, but doesn't win nothing. I tell you what, by the way, we're going to talk about that. How interesting is it that that Bayern Munich are, you can't take the Tottenham out of the player. You can take the player out of Tottenham, but you can't take the player. You can't take the Tottenham out of the player. How crazy is it that Bayern, who basically win every single season, sign Harry Kane, and they're on the verge of being knocked out of the Champions League. Now, how crazy was it? Man like Guendouzi, masterclass. Man of the match last night for Lazio, in midfield, in the Champions League, as they beat Bayern Munich 1-0. Upamecano, who I've always said, that guy is clumsy as hell. gets sent off, and masterclass from Guendouzi in the middle of midfield. Champions League, getting man of the match. And listen, Bayern are not looking good. 1-0 down, obviously going into the home leg against Lazio, and it will be a difficult one. It will be a difficult one for them. And obviously, we know already that they are struggling in the league with their, Leverkusen smashing them. So, hey, listen, Harry Kane, Eric Dyer, I've gone to Bayern Munich to win trophies. Guess what, mate? You're probably not going to win a damn thing. Interesting, some Arsenal players, man. You've got Guendouzi balling out at Lazio. You've got Granit Xhaka, top of the league, unbeaten at Leverkusen. You know, it's good to see these guys doing well. It really is. But yeah, good to see Guendouzi putting in such a good performance. Always thought he was a decent player. We just know he's got that slightly crazy attitude. Peter said, I wonder if one of his languages is Yardman language, Jamaican settings. You know what I mean? I want to know is he eating jerk chicken? You know, can he really talk the things them? I don't know. I doubt it, but would be interesting if he could. Doozy was so passionate for us. The one problem I always said with the Guendouzi deal was we should have had a big sell-on clause in that deal. Selling him for 9 million was very cheap, but the sell-on clause was definitely too low in my opinion. Apparently Davis is on his way to Madrid too. I've seen that link. Alphonso Davis. Did you see Carvalho trying to break Simmons' leg and not even give away a free kick? No. Yeah, I did see him. He was putting in some mad challenges, man. Some crazy challenges. So big up to Doozy anyway. Big up to man like Doozy. And PSG clipped up Sociedad last night 2-0. Didn't see the whole game. I saw the goals. Zubimendi, he played the full 90 minutes. So if anyone watched the game, feel free to let me know how he played. He played the full 90, didn't get substituted. I noticed that Kieran Tierney is out of a hamstring injury again. That guy is a full-on sick note. Itachi said, Big C's question about Mbappe doesn't sound crazy. Chelsea want Davis. Surely they wouldn't get him. Candola said Zubimendi didn't look that good. Sociedad were unlucky, apparently. I didn't watch the full game. PSG are beatable. It's been quite a boring last 16 so far. You know, Madrid beat Leipzig, City beat Copenhagen, and PSG beat Sociedad. I would like to see Bayern Munich get knocked out. Obviously, from an Arsenal point of view, I want to see one or two of the big clubs get knocked out. Speaking of man like Kieran Tierney. Kieran Tierney, stronger than a Tesco bag, apparently. If you've ever packed anything in a Tesco bag, you'll know that that is not a very strong bag. Kieran Tierney was doing an interview asking about his time at Arsenal. Does he think he has a future at the club? So on and so forth. He said the left back can be one of the most central players in the team. This was when he was asked about his role at Arsenal. He said, when that got introduced, it was alien to me. Man didn't have a clue what was going off. Men in black settings, aliens everywhere. What the hell am I doing in the middle of the pitch? I'm a left back. He then went on to say, it's so natural to Zinchenko. He makes it look so easy. So I think that tells you pretty much Kieran Tierney ain't going to be playing for Arsenal anytime soon. He has not got a clue how to invert into the middle of midfield. Which is sad, because the crazy thing about Arsenal, when you look at it, is why does Ben White not invert from the right-hand side if Tierney plays at left back? In fact, this channel is fun. He's just said that. Listen, Ben White has played games in defensive midfield for Brighton. So you would think, okay, if Tierney plays left back, Ben White, you invert. If Zinchenko plays, then he can invert. I think, you know, the fact that he doesn't invert well is a stupid thought process to think maybe this guy can't play for Arsenal. I mean, listen, they've probably got rid of him because of his injury record. And what he's done at Sociedad has done nothing to help that. But I just think, you know, we've tried to invert Kivior, it doesn't work. He doesn't look comfortable doing it either. So, I don't know, man. I'm a little bit... Surely you can have a natural player on one side and invert the other side. Why is it always the left back has to invert? Ben White did invert a little bit against West Ham. So, yeah, I don't see it. I would say, is the injuries MC? I agree with you, because I thought at the start of the season we should have probably kept him once Timber got injured. However, the reality is As much as I like Kieran Tierney and would have liked to have seen him maybe stay, the facts are the facts. He's played 11 league games this season for Real Sociedad. You know, nice weather, not as physical. The guy still can't stay fit. 26 years of age, consistently injured. And listen, for me, you offload him in the summer. But the problem you've got, an injury hit season at Sociedad is not going to help you get him off the wage bill, because anybody who wants him is going to look and go, well, the guy's just spent all season injured. His contract runs out in 2026, so he does still have 2 years left on his contract, 110 grand a week. I mean, I don't know where you go with this situation in the summer. Do you keep him as a backup left back next season? Do you loan him out again and hope that he has a good year, and then hopefully you can sell him next summer with a year left on his contract? Or, you know, is anybody going to pay a decent signing on fee for him? Because the problem you've got, Kieran Tierney should have value. You know, there aren't many good left backs around now. You look at Man United had to get Reguilon on loan, and, you know, Tierney should be a 30-40 million pound left back. However, you're not getting that for him because of his injury record. So I honestly don't know how you manage that situation. I think that's a very difficult situation you're going to have in the summer, because I'm not sure anybody would pay a good transfer fee for him along with the wages. So I don't know. I don't know how you manage that one. I mean, Trixie said Arteta probably wants Timber to be the key player, so Odegaard pushes further up the pitch. Listen, Timber's a game changer. Satori said, I would like Grimaldo. He's amazing. Would cost 40 million. He's having a brilliant season. Sakin said, Partey, Sambi, Tavares, Eddie, Cedric, El Neni all need to be gone, even if you only bring 3 elite players. Listen, you make a good point there. This summer, I think Arsenal have got a fantastic opportunity to cut the wage bill. Partey with a year left at 200 grand, I think the club will try and get him out. Tierney on 110, you try and move him on possibly, as much as I like him as a player. Eddie Nketiah, 100 bags, he's got to go. Cedric's out of contract, El Neni's out of contract. You shouldn't be giving them new deals. You sell Tavares, you sell Sambi, Jorginho, you've got a decision to make. I think players like, you know, Ramsdale, Fabio Vieira, maybe even Smith Rowe, you may have question marks over their futures as well, with the injuries and lack of game time and so on and so forth. So the club have got no excuse this summer. You know, Partey's 200 grand by himself. You should be able to make some money on wages. And Mbappe's been spotted walking, win the dog. Hey, it's happening, people. It's happening. Frimpong's got a 35 million release clause, obviously from Leverkusen. A lot of clubs will be in for him. Pele said Tierney still has a future here, because we all know White and Tomiyasu and Timber can invert. Also, his buddy Zubimendi is coming. Yeah, maybe. Martin's gifted 1 Curtis Shaw TV membership. Big up to yourself, bro. Appreciate that. And big up to the new member. And Declan Bell, thank you for the super sticker, bro. Really appreciate that as well. Jay said, we don't know how to buy. It's a shambles. Mr. Cool Bus Driver, you're right. Nelson, for me, is a player that it's almost pointless him being at Arsenal. As disrespectful as that sounds, I just feel like he's here purely to vibe and just say I'm at Arsenal. He's there to just tick a box and say, I'm part of the English quota. We clearly don't... I don't know if it's trust or whether we rate him high enough, but clearly they are not convinced by Reiss Nelson. You know, they're not convinced that he's the answer, because there's been multiple games where Saka could have come off, and you're looking at Nelson thinking, go on, give him a game. They obviously either don't rate him high enough or they don't trust him to come on and influence the game. So to me, what's the point having him on 100 grand? Again, it's got to be purely for the English quota. So, Amaru, big up to you, bro. New member. Really appreciate that. Jason said Nelson was always offered a new contract to protect his value. Well, the thing is, you've got to think about it like this. Nelson was on 40 grand a week. They put him up to 100 grand. 60 grand a week, 5-year deal. It's still a lot cheaper than them buying an English winger, right, to fill the quota and giving them a new contract, sorry. So you do have to have certain amount of English players in your club, and that's the situation. Now, you've got to think this year, You've got Ramsdale, English, who I think will probably try and leave this summer because, he's not going to get in the England team. He'll be in the squad, but he ain't going to get ahead of Pickford. You've got Smith Rowe, who, as much as I love Smith Rowe and would like to keep him, if he can't get fit and in the team before the end of this season, there's a possibility he can get sold as well. You've then got Eddie Nketiah, who I think 100% needs to go. And you've got Reece Nelson, who basically is doing nothing at the club at the moment. So there's at least 4 English players there that you're looking at going, a couple of them might go this summer, which is why Arsenal should go and sign Ivan Toney. First of all, that's an English player for English quota, and it's a proper player that would start in our team. So we've got to be very sensible with the players we sell and buy this summer. I said at the time that Nelson should have gone to Brighton. I thought that was a great move for him. Brian said, do you rate Saka? He always leads Arsenal in goals and assists, but I always hear people say that he's out of form and not world class. I mean, there's a lot of debate at the moment about Saka and Foden, and you've seen Rio Ferdinand saying stuff. You have to respect the output. He's becoming a bit of an output merchant at the moment, which I actually don't think is a bad thing because the modern winger has to produce numbers. That's the reality. Wingers are like strikers nowadays. A lot of clubs, their wingers actually score more than their striker. So I have no problem with Saka not looking as good, but probably going to get his highest ever goals and assists. Is Saka world class is a debate. I think on one hand, Foden has not had the responsibility that Saka's had, having to carry a major football club at times on his shoulders. The eye test, listen, I don't think Saka's a player that wows you that much. I hope that doesn't sound disrespectful. I said before, when Alexis Sanchez played for Arsenal, I used to sprint to the stadium. If I was running late, I would Usain Bolt to the stadium because you were desperate to watch that guy play. It was so exciting. He could do anything at any given moment. He was that good to watch. Saka doesn't get you off the edge of your seat that much, but he's producing, and how much would he cost if you was to sell him? Saka's probably worth 120, 140 million in the modern game, being that he's English, he plays for Arsenal, he's a right winger, there's a shortage of right wingers. I think he's close to being world class. But some people would say he's world class. I don't know. I'm a little bit more harsh. I still think he's just got to overcome another boundary before I say, okay, he's world class. But we'll see. Some of you may think so. You know what? Let's get a poll up. Let's get a poll up. More polls than Atlanta strip club people. ATL settings. Do you think Bukayo Saka is world class? Let's see what the community thinks. I don't want to sway your decision at all. Sorry. The modern game is different. Sometimes I think, am I stuck in the past with my judgment of players? Maybe I've got to kind of move with the modern game and say, well, he is. But I don't know if he quite is, in my opinion. But some of you may think he is. Is Saka world class? There's the poll. I would say he's close, but not quite. Not quite. He's nearly there. But let me know. Cooper said, enjoy Arsenal PR. Sign Toney first in the summer. Ivan Toney should be the first player through the door this summer. We should sign him before the season even finishes. Get that deal done nice and early. Carl said, any thoughts on Quinton Timber? I haven't watched much of him. Arsenal were linked with him at one stage. I don't know if that was just, a journalist throwing that link out there because obviously he's Jurian's brother, but apparently very highly rated. E. Ross said, English tax people, hey, that English tax, man, we're in recession now, bro, you better be careful. Big up, E. Ross. Simon said, Victor Guy Perez having a great season. Who is that guy? Let's have I've heard his name. I don't know much about it. Let's have a look. Oh, Sweden does he play for? Sporting. Let's have a look at the stats. 16 goals in 18 games, 8 assists. Yeah, having a great season. 25 years of age. I don't know much about him. Didn't he play in the Championship? He did, yeah. Coventry. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, listen, I honestly can't say I've watched enough of him to say, is he somebody we should be going for? I remember he was in the Championship, bagged 20 plus goals in the Champ, gone to Sporting. He looks like he's going to bang 20 plus there. Fair play. Listen, the striker market is risky because there's a bunch of players that have had like one good season And all of a sudden, the value's through the roof. You look at him, who you just mentioned. You look at Santiago Jimenez. You look at Sesko. These guys, there isn't a lot of a CV behind what they've done, but you're going to have to take a risk on somebody. But for me, I would just rather sign Toney and know what I'm getting. Premier League proven, 60 odd million. Or do they go big for Osimhen? As I said, I'm still kind of unsure on Osimhen, but if they did sign him, I would shamelessly say I've always rated him. But the striker market's as weak as it's ever been. It's as weak as it's ever been. Boniface is the risk I would take, says Neil. Yeah, he's highly rated. Toney is ready for a move. Just get the deal done. When doing about world class, he ain't that, to be honest, but I rate him. Arsenal 11 said Alexis Sanchez was a beast. Imagine Alexis in this team. Like, honestly, he would be unbelievable in this team. The way we play football as well. CJ said, I see a guy say Foden is world class, so is Saka. I think it's difficult to compare them, They're in different circumstances. They play different positions. Saka's had a lot more responsibility on his shoulders. But then with Foden, you could say he's been in the pressure cooker situations of, Champions League semi-finals and finals and winning titles. And, so, it's a difficult one. We'd be winning things with Alexis. Mad settings. You need to get back onto your game. You're probably worth 100 million plus Big C in today's market. Listen, man, just get me in League 2. Give me half a season in League 2. Dan said your thoughts on Openda. I like him. I think he'll get a big move in the next year or two. And he's getting better and better as well. That's the thing with him. But I wouldn't go for him personally, but I do like him. Saka needs to cook in the Champions League. Listen, you look at the biggest players. They have big moments in big games, right? Even, and I know people will say lawyer settings here, but even if you look at Aubameyang, right? Aubameyang, no matter what we think about him, FA Cup semi-final, Manchester City, best team in the country. Aubameyang deals with them. 2 goals, wins as the game. FA Cup final against Chelsea, Aubameyang deals with them. 2 goals, chips the goalkeeper. Those big moments, can define your career sometimes, because you will always look back on Aubameyang and go, yo, that FA Cup, man, he won us that. I think Saka still needs a huge moment, a Champions League quarter-final winning goal against Real Madrid or Bayern Munich, or, an FA Cup final winner. I just think he needs that moment, Even Jesus is cooking in the Champions League. I actually think the Champions League suits Arsenal better than the Premier League. And it sounds crazy because we haven't won the Champions League ever. But I think Arsenal have got a better chance of winning the Champions League than the Premier League this season. I really do. I look at these clubs around Europe, I'm thinking, listen, I'm not saying Arsenal are going to win it, but I watched Bayern Munich the other night. They don't look that good. Now, listen, we could get Bayern Munich over 2 legs and get beat. That's the reality. Sané could cook, Kane could bag, and we're out. I'm not saying we would beat these teams, but what I'm saying is, I don't think there's a lot in the Champions League that really scares me. I watched Real Madrid the other day against Leipzig. They weren't amazing. I know Bellingham didn't play, but they don't have a striker. Danny Carvalho at right back. They've got injuries. Camavinga's in defence sometimes. Yeah, Vinicius looks incredible. And Bellingham's looked incredible as well. But honestly, and even Man City, listen, Man City are incredible. But, in a one-off game in the final at Wembley, anything can happen. Anything. We beat them in the Community Shield. We beat them this season at home. So I genuinely think Arsenal are going to have a good run in the Champions League. Now, whether that means we win it or not, I don't know. But I think we've got a chance. I honestly think we've got a chance in the Champions League. I actually think the Premier League is more difficult because you're going to have to win maybe 13 games out of 14 to win the title. And you're going to have to go to Man City, and we've got some very tough games. But we'll see. Listen, I hope we can win something. That's what it's all about. So it will be interesting. Listen, somebody who looks like he will be staying at the club long term is Takehiro Tomiyasu. It hasn't been announced, but the story's everywhere. Tomiyasu has signed a contract extension with Arsenal, and he is also fit and available for selection ahead of Saturday's Premier League trip to Burnley. Obviously, Tomiyasu came back from the Asia Cup with Japan, and he wasn't available. Apparently, he got a knock in training and wasn't available at the weekend, but apparently he is training this week, and he will be available for the game at Burnley. Doesn't look like, from what I've read, that many other players are going to be available from that list of 7. Apparently Zinchenko is the other one that might be available. But from what I'm reading, Gabriel Jesus doesn't look like he's going to be back. Partey doesn't look like he's back. No Gabriel Jesus, no Fabio Vieira, and also obviously no Jurriën Timber. So but it's good to see Tomiyasu back, and obviously we've got a big game this week that we need to win. I know on paper it looks like easy work, but you've still got to go there and handle business. And not only that, I would like to see Arsenal really chip away again at that goal difference. We're only 1 behind Liverpool now. Liverpool travel to Brentford, 12:30 kickoff on Saturday. We know Klopp's always moaning about the 12:30s. And Manchester City host Chelsea at 5:30. Now, I don't have a lot of hope that Chelsea will do anything, but, you know, there's a slim chance. Could they possibly, you know, get a draw or something against them? Apparently, Fabio Vieira's back in training. Big up Keros. So, listen, we've got to take advantage. I want to see at least 3-4 goals for Arsenal away at Burnley. Hope that Liverpool or Chelsea will drop points. You know, that's what we're going to be hoping for every week now. So, listen, does Tomiyasu start at left back? For me, he does. I think he does. I know Kivior actually played quite well the other day against Kudus. Kept him fairly quiet, but I was still a little bit nervous with Kivior on the pitch. I've got to be honest. And I'm not saying he was bad the way you need to drop him, but I think Tomiyasu is an upgrade on Kivior at left back, and I don't see why you would have Tomiyasu available and not play him. So, you know, if Kivior cost us the game or something, it would look like a stupid decision. So, for me, Tomiyasu goes straight back in the Arsenal team at left back. I think we go there and try and deal with them. Listen, we've got Champions League next week, which is a massive game for us, of course. We travel to Porto on Wednesday night. So for me, Arsenal, you start strong, you get that Burnley game wrapped up as early as possible, and then you get players off the pitch ahead of Wednesday. So I wouldn't be messing around playing Kivior and do. I'm not saying he would cost us the game, of course not, but I think Tomiyasu should go straight back in. In terms of his contract, 4-year contract for Tomiyasu. It's interesting because last summer I remember saying in a stream that I would consider letting Tomiyasu go, not because I didn't rate him as a player, because I rate him highly. I was really concerned about his injuries. Having 2 calf problems in the same season was a real concern for me. But this year I think he's been brilliant. And I'm glad he signed a new contract. And listen, his versatility, the fact he can play right back, left back, and centre back, very tall, overlaps really well. I think it's a great decision. It's a no-brainer. I'm going to end the poll. Is Bukayo Saka world class? And bear in mind that the majority of the community is Arsenal. 55% of you say no, and 45% say yes. So that tells you how split we are on that conversation. I agree. I've said before, I love Saka. I don't think he's quite there yet in terms of, world class. I still think he has another hurdle to overcome. But I think he's getting there. I think, by the end of this season, can Arsenal win a major trophy? Can he have a huge moment, get us over the finish line, do something major that influences us to win a trophy like that? So we'll see. He's getting there. But we'll have to see if he can finish the season strong, and then we can have that conversation. Big up to everyone in the chat. Make sure you like the video. Over 2,000 of you in here. Okay, we'll do one more poll, right? Let's do one more poll. A lot of people are asking in the chat, instead of is Saka world class, who is the better player, Foden or Saka? Because I know that is the debate at the moment. And be honest, people. Even if you're an Arsenal fan, who is the better player, Foden or Saka? That's the good debate that everyone's having at the moment. Rio Ferdinand's triggered a lot of Arsenal fans. We'll throw that out there as well. Rodrigo is better, says 99. Well, he plays for Real Madrid. You're always going to, there's Real Madrid tax involved in that, of course. Rodrigo is very good, though. Young Gunner said, you can tell Saka is a system player with his playing style. Majority of classy wingers start raw and grow into the position. Would you take Adeyemi? Adeyemi's an exciting player. Definitely an exciting player. He's quick as well. I'm just looking at his stats this season. He scored a great goal last year. Was it against Chelsea? The only thing, Adeyemi hasn't scored this season. Not one goal in the Bundesliga. I'm assuming he's injured. 11 games, no goals, 1 assist, 6 goals last year. Yeah, the numbers aren't great, but he's exciting. There's no doubt. He's very quick. Very, very quick. Listen, I totally agree with your point on Saka. I think you look at a lot of the best wingers. They've all got that sort of raw edge to them, and they've got that thing of, if I'm one-on-one with a fullback, I'm going to rip you to bits. I'm going to twist you up. I'm going to nutmeg you. They've all got that edge about them, that sort of, they want to embarrass the fullback. I think with Saka, number one, you can see that Saka is academy made. You can see that Saka wasn't playing street football. He is an academy talent. It wouldn't, Saka looks like a player that I think could probably play more central. I don't look at Saka as just an out and out winger. I think Saka could actually play behind the striker probably, or somebody a little more central. I'm not saying he will end up playing in that role. I think he's got that versatility. When he came into the team, he was at left back. Then he went left wing. Then he ended up right wing. So clearly, he's a very well-oiled, well-coached system player that you can probably play him anywhere and he's going to be effective. If you played him at left back, he'd do well. If you played him right wing, he'll do well. I think he could play centre midfield and get forward, in that sort of number 8 role. I think he's that kind of player. So I agree with you. He doesn't have that raw edge of a winger that's going to rip you to bits. When you look at Vinicius Junior, as soon as he gets the ball, it's like he's going to embarrass the fullback. Saka doesn't have that. I think he's a brilliant system, coached academy player that is producing great output. So my thing with Saka is focus on what he can do, not what he can't do. Yeah, we do want him to be a bit more skillful, a bit more direct, but I think he's an extremely, extremely good player. 22, he's getting numbers, and he hardly ever gets injured as well, which I think is a huge thing in modern day football. Plays as an inside forward for England. The question is Foden world class? Both are not world class in my opinion. Give me Pedro Neto. Listen, as I said, Saka is about to get his best ever numbers in a season. I believe he'll get more than 15 league goals and, over 10 assists, which is incredible for a 22-year-old playing out wide for Arsenal. So I think we have to appreciate what he is rather than what he isn't. That would be my opinion on Saka. The poll is up though anyway. Saka can play multiple positions as well. 99 Guna said Saka is a poacher playing right wing. Red Eye said Saka is consistently good at the fundamentals. That's a great point. He does the actual simple things very well. You don't often see him have a bad touch. His crossing is good. I think Saka's a very, very good player. I think we have a great balance because on the left you've got Saka that's very much consistent. You know what you're going to get. There's great output. He looks after the ball very well. He's strong. He's getting goals and assists. And then on the left-hand side with Martinelli, he's a little bit more chaotic. He's a bit more direct pace. I am going to try and run past you. I am going to get at you. And that's why I think those two complement Arsenal so well. I think the only thing we're lacking is the gunman through the middle. That striker that scares you. I think that's the missing piece of the front three, where if you was playing against Arsenal, you'd be like, oh my God, they've got Saka over there who's getting great numbers. You've got Martinelli over there, who's super direct. And then you've got that striker through the middle that at any given moment can just hit the back of the net. That's where I think you need to see an Osimhen, a Tony, Jimenez, whoever the striker is. I just think we're just missing that final piece of the jigsaw in terms of the forward line. You know, I'd love to see one more top player in there. But I'm going to be honest, at the moment, and what I've seen of your boy Trossard, and as I said, I'm not writing off Gabriel Jesus. He's still got a role to play, but I think that Trossard through the middle is the way to go for the time being. I think that's the role that he should be playing. I've said many times, I think Trossard needs to be in the Arsenal team. I don't know where, but I think now you play him as a false nine. You know, I think his link-up play is outstanding. And what I love about Trossard, and somebody put this in the comments the other day, Trossard shoots from distance. You know, because he is a winger, and wingers often get the ball far out from the goal, it's like he has the thought process that if I have space, I'm going to look to shoot. Gabriel Jesus does not score many goals from outside the penalty area. It's very much an 18-yard box striker, in my opinion. So for me, Trossard, Martinelli and Saka, that is the front three for now for Arsenal. No problem whatsoever with that. Let me end this poll. Let me see what you're saying. And the community's leaned on Starboy. 66% of you saying Saka is better than Phil Foden. 34% say Phil Foden. So the community have spoken. And let's see. Let's hope we're lifting the title at the end of the season. Starboy Tax. Total Hit said, facts, Trossard has to start till the end of the season. Sam said Jesus is not a striker. It's funny, a lot of you have said that before. I wonder if Jesus could play that Havertz role. You know, I know it's a strange one, but, you know, we've seen with, like, Joel Linton. Joel Linton up front, I thought was one of the worst strikers in the Premier League, genuinely. I remember watching him play for Newcastle. I said, this guy is horrendous. 35 million Brazilian. I said, he is awful. They've put him into midfield. He's an absolute beast. Anytime you play Newcastle, you know Joel Linton's going to give you problems. Now, I'm not saying Jesus can be Joel Linton because Joel Linton's big and strong and physical. But I just wonder if Jesus could play behind a striker and link up in that sort of way. You know, yeah, one of his best games this season was out wide against Man City. I thought he absolutely cooked Vardiol in that game. LSU said, big up the community. Can only listen in this morning, driving from Houston to Denver. Thanks for the stream. Stop for gasoline and breakfast. Big up yourself. Well, listen, mate, if you're Sean Dyche, you know, I actually have gasoline for breakfast, so, you know, it's a 2-for-1 situation for me. But big up LSU, Gunner. Gunner Roller dropped a super chat. Did I miss it? No, I've got it. He said, I disagree. See, Saka does have the edge, but more importantly, knows how to use it. Remember your pet quotes about playing in different tempos. That is Saka. But listen, football's all about opinions. I respect it. I appreciate your opinion, bro. And listen, let's hope Saka puts all of that discussion to bed by leading us to a Premier League or a Champions League. Darren said, slightly think the contrary. I think Saka is extremely direct, less so this year because of the lack of space. I think skillers can be less direct because they don't run in straight lines, sometimes take too many touches. I hear you on that. I hear you. I do agree to a certain extent because Saka this year's 2v1 situation, so he can't just go. But what I mean with that is sometimes Saka does get 1v1, and not that he's not direct. I think sometimes he's not that unpredictable. I think we know what he's looking to do a lot of the time. Where, you know, I want to see a little drop of the shoulder, a little step over. Can he just drop a little nutmeg on someone? You know, I think he can just add a little bit more versatility to his game. So, yeah, maybe the direct quote was wrong. I'm not saying he's not direct, but I just think he can add that little sort of dimension to his game. To just become a little bit more unpredictable. Big up Cooper, thank you for the super sticker, bro. Really appreciate it. Listen, it's a quiet news day. I'm going to be honest. There's not a lot going off today, so I'm going to round up the show now. 2,000 of you in the chat. Make sure you hit the like button. Big up the Twitch gang as well. 46 of you on Twitch, 2,000 of you on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will be back on tomorrow, 2 p.m. Press conference reaction from Arteta. Let's find out if anybody's fit and available, even though he will be saying, we're training today and we'll see who's available. He's never going to give us the answer. And yeah, Ian, Roy Hodgson getting sacked from Crystal Palace today. Listen, Roy, respectfully, bro, it's time to retire. Just relax, man. You know what I mean? Roy looks tired, man. Roy looks knackered. And as I said, the UK has gone into recession. 24 hours after Valentine's Day. All them hotels, chocolates, flowers, they've mashed up the pockets, you know. So be safe out there, people. And listen, thank you very much for tuning in. Press conference reaction tomorrow. Waffle settings. We'll look ahead to the game against Burnley. And obviously, we'll be doing a watch along on Saturday. Thank you very much for tuning in. Enjoy your Thursday. Take care. I'll see you all tomorrow, people. Bless.